Hey, in this video, I'm going to share with you my 6 favorite coloring tools, and number 6 will actually blow you away because it's insane. Alright, so I have a simple drum loop here, just like this. Alright, now the first contender is the FET drive from Analog Obsession, and it features a mixed dry knob, a tone knob, a drive knob, and the output slider. On this plugin, when you turn the drive up, the volume tends to go down, and we can do it in parallel as well. Let's see. You really got a lot of control here. Only for these 4 knobs here, you got a bunch of controls. This tone knob can really make something stand out in a mix, I think. Here, how we just lift the top end of the drums a little without using EQ, just with a bright saturation. Wonderful. Okay, and that's the FET drive, and the link is in the description below. Also, check out the template that I'm using right here. It's called Drag Drop Mix. You can get it on subphotic.com/drag-drop-mix. And if you're more into free stuff, you can go to subphotic.com/logic and get my free pack of templates right there. Alright, the next free saturation plugin up is the distortion plugin from Kilohertz, and it's featured in the Kilohertz Essentials bundle, which is 32 plugins, and this is one of them. So let's take it for a ride. It has a spread knob, which gives some stereo spread, a DC filter, a mix knob again, a bias, which will essentially give you more control over the saturated sound. You have a dynamics module right here, and so of course the drive knob. Here's the algorithm of the saturation. You have fold back, sine, hard clip, etc. And you have some great presets as well. Here we have some presets. If you just want to warm up the drums, we can do like this. We can always use the mix to really like calm it down a bit, sort of. Alright, and we have a dice function here where we can just arbitrarily make a setting. And all of a sudden we stumble upon something great. Okay, the next free saturator plugin that comes up is the EVGI2 from Klanghelm, and it sounds a little something like this. This is a more subtle type of saturator. It doesn't go that all in. It's nowhere near the last plugin that I'm going to show you. You can tweak the input volume, the output volume. It's right here. You can control the drive knob. This is really practical if you have a low income level on the signal. You can drive up the trim, for example. And then you have the low frequency where it takes the most. So if you have it on the low filter, so it will saturate a lot in the high frequencies or in the low frequencies, or whatever you want to, wherever on the spectrum you want to saturate the most. So we can keep it in the middle, in the neutral. It was like, and if you take it down to the low end or to the top end, you hear that there's more saturation in the top end. So there are some possibilities here that isn't in the other plugins. So that's quite cool. Another color to the palette, as you can say. All right, here comes the next free saturation plugin. This is the Softube saturation knob, and it's the first third-party plugin that I ever had to play with because it was free, and it still is free. I used it in Reason way back in the day when Reason just released their abilities to take third-party plugins. I think it was in reason 6. Yes. This is essentially the drive knob. You have an input and output control on the left and the right side here. You have also a selection of where to focus the saturation on, just as in the previous plugin. So you have keep high. It won't affect the highs that much, or keep low. It won't affect the lows. You can play around with it like that. Okay, let's play with it. All right, so what this plugin lacks, if anything, is the mix knob. I used to have it on Ascend so that I can control it that way and use it in parallel. Here I can just show you quickly. I use Ascend. Let's see here. Yes, I have it right here. Here we go. So I have it here on the Ascend on something called the drum vibe, which is included in my template. You can go check it out. The link is in the description below. Here comes the next free saturation plugin, and this is a tape emulation of some sort. And you know, you have the hiss volume right here, so you have a lot of hiss, dust, movement, like think tape movement, and age. How old is the tape? You have an input and an output on the left and the right. You can sum it to mono. You can have a clipper on it. You can choose to not include that input signal, and you can only hear the hiss like this. And the dust. Only hiss and dust. Let's give it a spin. It's getting older. I've said it before, but I say it again. When you increase the input knob, it will increase the effect of the plugin, and then you also decrease the output knob, not to have a increase in overall volume. So you see here, it's a lot of options right here as well. And what I love about the hiss volume and the dust volume is that you can actually create a more dense mix from a sparse arrangement. So I think that's a really good thing. Select one track to use it on, for example, the drums, but like this. Like, don't have it audible, but just in the background there to create more density. Now comes the last plugin, and this one is just crazy. Just check this out. I'll just take a tour of the presets a bit, and I don't think you should start tweaking these knobs right here. This is obviously the effect of the saturation or the destruction. This is more like a destroyer. It's not that much of a saturator. Only if you use it in parallel. You can't go easy with this one. There's no slightly or subtly on this one. Obliterate from Newfangled Audio. Hello to you too. And this is quite an interesting story about this plugin, because the plugin company tried to make a filter plugin, and then they made some error in the code, and then the code went nuts. And the result is this plugin. And listen to this. I'm just going to show you the generic ones. And one of my favorites is the Grandma's House, the Devil's Horn and Grandma's House. Those are my two favorites. Listen to this. completely transform the signal. And listen to Grandma's house, like. You only need a drum loop, and then you're good to go. You have a complete song. Like. This is like Marie Antoinette on ketamine or something. OG. Now, if you're interested in my take on more free plugins, check out this video over here, because here I go through my favorite mixing plugins. Hope I see you there. Thanks so much for watching, and peace out.